Hello, Miss DelPrete's classroom. We are doing a follow-up video. First question is, can we take a trip to your farm? With your family, maybe, but we're usually not there all the time and we don't really do tours. But there are a lot of other farms on the North Fork that do, and it might be better to visit one of those with your family.
The next question is, can I have 2 of the small chickens? No.
Nope.
There are chickens, but you can get chickens pretty easily. If it was something your family wanted to do, you can actually order them through the mail. We get all of our chickens through the post office, and they come when they're only like 1 day old, so you can buy 6 chickens that way. I don't know if you can get just 2, but talk to your parents.
When did you decide to become a farmer? We first became interested in farming and agriculture when we ran our youth group. We did a small victory garden, and we planted vegetables and tomatoes and stuff for a local women's shelter, and with our youth group and that we were running, and it was a lot of fun, and that's when we became interested in producing our own food. And then as we researched it more and more over the years, we decided that maybe it was a career choice for us.
The next question is, what would you do if you weren't a farmer? And we both started out in our careers not doing farming. So Jared is a repairman, and he repairs equipment in commercial kitchens, like the big mixers and the big ovens and stuff in a restaurant or a hospital. I worked in offices. So I worked for a marketing firm that made like advertisements, and also for a law firm. So I guess if we weren't farming, we would probably go back to doing those things. We also have our little son, so hopefully I can stay home and be, a full-time mom for a few years while he's young.
Do you have any cows or pigs? We do not. We're hoping to get into pigs in the next couple of years, but we're probably not going to ever have cows. At least I'm not very interested in them. I actually prefer goat's milk. And I prefer goats because they are smaller and they can't run you over and hurt you.
Cows are really expensive.
And cows take a very long time to produce anything. And you need a lot of them, and you need a lot of acres. It's not particularly good for Long Island.
Yeah, there aren't too many cows on Long Island. Is it hard to be a farmer, and what is your biggest challenge? Those are great questions. It is hard.
It's very hard.
It's hard to start any business, I think, also. So like some of the challenges that we've had hasn't necessarily been caring for the animals, but it's been all the business stuff, like marketing, trying to find customers that you can sell things to, keeping all of your records straight, and it's like a lot of schoolwork, like having to keep everything really organized and record a lot of things. That's been a challenge in having our own business. It's also sometimes challenging because sometimes a bird dies, and that's kind of difficult because it's really sad and you feel guilty that the bird died, but sometimes they're just not healthy, or sometimes if they get like injured, there isn't too much you can do about it. So we try really hard to do a good job to keep everybody happy and healthy, and that can be difficult. You're like looking after all of these little animals, and it's challenging.
Yeah. Are the animals difficult to handle on the farm? Is it hard to manage Smokey and Dolly? The animals, are they hard to handle? Yes and no. There's a lot of daily work that goes into it, but there's not a lot of things that can go wrong because of the way we have it set up with the infrastructure as far as the chickens go. Because they're in those pens, so we don't really have to worry too much about them getting out or getting hurt by wild animals. But it is difficult. It's labor intensive to move all of those pens every day. I have to move them. And Dolly and Smokey are not hard to manage. They are very easy to manage, and they are fun to play with. I like to hang out with them. Smokey was climbing a tree yesterday, and I got to take a picture of her. Is it fun to be a farmer?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
it is fun. We get to be outside a whole lot, and we get to start our day early, so Some days we're working all day, like until it's dark out. But then there's some days if we say, you know, we have other things to do, we can go do our life stuff and not have to go into the office every morning and work for somebody else. So it's enjoyable being out in nature and caring for the animals.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily fun, but it's rewarding, and that's a different type of fun, kind of, for adults. It's like you have these baby chickens, and then you produce them into a product that somebody's going to consume with their family and enjoy and be healthy. So it's definitely rewarding. It's rewarding in a different way than my other career, which is repair, because at the end of the repair you have a machine that's now working that was broken. It's a little bit more challenging because it takes a long time between when you get the bird and when it's ready for market, and you can get a little disconnected from what you're producing because of the duration. But it is rewarding, and it's easy to be proud of.
It's rewarding, like if you're working at something that you want to get good at. If you're like a dancer and you're practicing dancing a lot, and then you finally can do the show, and sometimes it's not so fun to practice the piano every day, but then when you play that really cool song, it's really rewarding, and that's more the kind of fun that it is for us. So what's the next question?
Zoomed out. Do you like raising the animals? Sure. Do the animals always listen to you? The only animal that listens to me is Dolly.
Yeah.
Smokey does not listen.
Not even all the time.
Dolly listens sometimes. My brother-in-law's dog listens to me, and he lives with us.
Do the chickens peck or hurt you? They can peck, but it doesn't really hurt. It can hurt Elijah. He doesn't like it, but he keeps sticking his fingers in there, so what are you going to do?
Why do the chickens need exercise?
That's a good question.
When a chicken exercises, it's more of a natural product. Chickens aren't meant to be standing still their whole life and just eating. So they move around, and it works their muscles, and it makes the meat taste better, and it also is healthier for the bird.
Same reason that we need exercise.
Yeah.
How many chickens do we have in total? Right now we have like 400 chickens. As the summer moves forward, we will have more. So because you buy your baby chickens and then they take 8 weeks or 10 weeks really before you process them, in the beginning of the season, you're having more and more and more and more birds. And then during the summer, it stays the same, because as you get new chickens in, then you harvest new chickens for market like the same week. And then towards the end of the summer, you stop getting new chicks and you just keep harvesting, and then it goes lower and lower. So we could have up to 1,000 birds on the farm in like the height of the summer, but right now we just have a few hundred.
Why did your goats live in the house? The goats did not live in the house. They lived at the house. I think maybe Nicole misspoke. Although when Dolly was a baby, she got hurt, and she had to live in... She lived in the foyer of the house, which is kind of outdoors, where it used to be a porch.
Yeah, it's like a porch.
For about 3 or 4 days, because she needed special care because she had been hurt. But besides that, the goats didn't live in the house. I did bring them in during a dinner party for fun once.
That's true.
But,
and we put them
only in for a minute. I let her back out immediately because she got scared.
Yeah, we put them in the garage when we had some hurricanes. When we had Superstorm Sandy a few years ago. And Hurricane Irene, we brought them in because they are fine outside. They're animals. Like, the weather doesn't bother them. They have, when they were at our house especially, they had like a really nice little house, and now out on the farm they have cover where they can sleep and get out of the rain and everything. But when you have a really big storm and things are like blowing around, we wanted to put them in the garage where they would be safer, because it's more of like a house.
Do the goats eat sticks? Kind of. They chew on bark from trees. They'll rip the bark off of trees, and they'll bite on sticks, and that's kind of how they brush their teeth. It's fibrous, and it cleans their teeth, and they kind of like the taste. It's just something for them to do. It's more of a hobby than an actual thing that they consume for nutrition.
Like chewing gum.
Yeah, like chewing gum. Do the goats make milk?
So the goats can make milk, but they're both very young. So they're both female goats, and we would like to have them make milk. But in order to make milk, they have to have a baby. So it's the same thing with like a mom breastfeeding or nursing. You have your baby and then you make milk. So if we want the goats to make milk, we have to get them pregnant and then have a baby, and we just haven't learned how to do that yet and haven't taken the time to really do it right, because it's a very big deal. It's a really important thing to get right. So hopefully in the next couple of years we will do that. We'll breed them and have baby goats and have milk. But right now
we're not really a goat farm, so we don't really. They are just our little friends. Do you have to slaughter the chickens? Well, we don't use the word slaughter. We use the word process, because the word slaughter has some negative connotations. We do process the chickens. We have a 24-foot long trailer called an MPU, Mobile Processing Unit, and inside it looks just like a butcher shop, and the birds come in the back, and they're dispatched by me. And Nicole is the one who is in the clean room, where they are, they're already defeathered when she gets them, and then she eviscerates them, and we chill them on ice water, and that is where meat comes from.
So slaughtering is also kind of just like one step of the process. Like, that's to kill the bird. So the bird comes in the back door, and we kill them in a nice way, the nicest way that you can. But then there's more to it. So you have to like take their feathers out and their guts out. And the same way when you get a chicken in the grocery store, it's just the meat. So that's what I do in the clean room. And the whole thing from animal to meat, that's processing.
Yeah.
We also use the word harvest, which is a term that hunters use when they take animals. They're harvesting them from the land.
Yeah.
So thank you for your questions. It was really fun making videos for you guys. And I hope you have a great rest of the year. And we'll see you again soon.
Okay.